Well, hey folks, Fat Guy Flies RC coming to you from the man cave. All right, as the thumbnail suggests, and says, we're going to unbox and assemble the brand new FREEWING F-22 90mm F-22 version 2, the updated version of the old one. Now, like if you listen to Wes in the Motion RC website, there's not a new mold. They've just updated a lot of the features, added lights, better wheels, upgraded the way the wings connect. Several different things they've added as an update. So let's open it up and take a look at the parts. Just real quick, let me go ahead and this is the 6S version, the standard version, because I was going to get the 8S, but I'll be honest, I don't have that many pairs of large 4S batteries, like 4,000 and 5,000. Most of my 4Ss are smaller than that. And none of them have EC5s or anything like that. So I'd have to buy a bunch of batteries, and I'm happy with 6S performance in this anyways. So let me read the specs to you on this one. This is the standard version. It's a 90mm 12-bladed ducted fan. It is a 3668 1960 kV Inrunner. It has a 120 amp ESC with an 8 amp UBEC. It has 2 9-gram hybrid servos. I think that's for the doors. 6 17 digital metal servos. 2 23-gram metal servos. I think that's for the elevators or rear stabilizers, horizontal stabilizers. Retractable landing gear and LED slime lights. It says a 5,000 to a 6,000. I'll be assembling her and balancing her on a 5200 SMC pack. It requires at least 6 channels. If you want thrust reverse, you have to have a 7th channel. And if you want nose wheel steering, which I'm going to be using on 8, you'll have to have 8 channels because I'll be putting in a Spectrum 8-channel AR 830 60T AS3X Plus receiver that has with a satellite that has been updated to the latest firmware. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get her out of the box, and we'll do a downward view, and we'll be right back. Let's change our viewpoint real quick, like I've done a lot lately. All right, as you can see, got the F-22 version 2. All right, let's get our blade, which I realize I don't have handy right here. And let's open it up, look at everything in the box as it comes. First time, I haven't even opened it up to check it yet. We'll be doing this together. All right. They use the same box, I guess, as before, and they just slapped a version 2 sticker on it. All right, get it centered in the frame there. I do like the box art on these. All right. All right, nice unfolded manual. Got your tube of the best glue ever. Got your little bag of bits and bobs and pieces, all your screws. Got your one wing spar. Okay. Now, a lot of these newer videos, and the trend seems to be, they open the box and they just drop it and everything just magically appears. And that's fine, that's catchy. I don't like doing that. I mean, I understand why they do it. It's kind of save time. One of the pieces of the rear of the fuselage here, you have to glue this piece on. Okay. But I don't like doing that. I mean, nothing against the people who do it, but I just don't like doing that. Okay. Now you do have to hook up all the control surfaces. So that's why you're going to want to put your battery in, or you're going to put your receiver. I put a fresh blade on this tonight. You're going to need to bound up the receiver and get all your servos centered first. It's just a good thing to do. Go ahead and have everything centered. All right, very nice. Love the finish on this. I mean, You know that it's foam, but you certainly can't tell by just looking at it. It looks like it's made of metal. It's very light and very strong. Nice actual working mechanical hinge, not a pinch hinge here. Not a pinch hinge here. And I am going to go ahead and take the time to unbox and take everything out of the bag with you here. I'm sorry if that's a little monotonous, but this is going to be a very detailed build and unboxing. The same experience that you would have at home. Ball links are already installed as far as the control arm. And remember, you've got 2 pigtails now, so pay attention to polarity. If you don't hook them up right, especially with this light that's on here, for the slime light here, if you plug this in backwards, if you put the red to the black and the black to the red in this, you're going to fry that slime light, and then they're not going to be able to help you because you did that. Now don't cry to a company about their model when you're the one that makes a mistake. And what I don't like about this model, what I'm very upset about this model, is that it came today, and all I can do is unbox and build it, and then I got a 3-day work week, well, 3 14-hour days. It's not my whole week, but 3 14-hour days in a row, and I won't be able to fly it on Monday till I come back. But very nice lights. That's what I don't like, because I can't fly it just yet. Remember, with these quick connects, if it's all gray, it's okay. Okay? See, it's all gray. But if you see white, it ain't right. That's just a little thing to remember when you go to put your wings on. You're gonna go fly it for the first time, or go fly it at all. If you see white, it ain't right. It's all gray, you're okay. Now I don't know how that thing is going to be with a different colored plane. It's not gray. I have to come up with a new limerick or whatever for that. So that's what most of these so far, they've been gray, and all gray, okay. Very nice. All mechanical hinges. Look how much throw you've got on that. Quite a bit. Keep up with your debris. And even if you don't run a YouTube channel and you don't do any of that kind of stuff, okay? I highly recommend setting up your cell phone and filming yourself getting it out of the box or taking still photos, because God forbid you have a problem and you got to send it back. Sometimes putting these things back together in these boxes is an absolute nightmare. Trying to fix, especially if you didn't pay attention to how you took it out. So if you have a little video record of it or a picture record of it, you'll be so glad you did. It's one of those things that it's a pain in the butt to do at the time, but you're so glad you did. Ah ha ha, look at this. Here we go. Here we go. Inactivity. Oh, hush, radio. And since I updated my transmitter to the latest firmware with this SE, and for the life of me, I got the Australian lady, I know how to put it in, but it will not let me keep it for some reason. It wants the default sound. I've changed it, and it takes it back. That nose cone, I'm thinking this, I don't remember having this much plastic. Maybe I'm wrong, but it has got a butt ton of plastic on there. A butt ton is a measurement for a lot. Another piece of the rear fuselage that you have to glue on. All 3 pieces now. Okay. And our extremely important control surface, the horizontal stabilizer, otherwise known as elevator. Now this will be set up in a traditional setup. I'm not going to do Tailor-ons or anything like that. I'm going to set up just the way you would get it out of the box. Now 2 brothers in them, I'm sure they're going to go through and splice wires and get you Tailor-ons. And what he'll probably do to get more throw out of his elevator or his horizontal stabilizer, he'll cut a little bit on either end of where the connection point so that it won't bind, it'll have more throw. And he'll probably put a more beefier elevator servo in there. But that's Two Brothers. They like to mod and push their planes to the absolute limit. Me, I like to push it to what it comes with stock, what you get out of the box. The only thing I'll do is add afterburner and give it a clear coat. Now, pay attention to your canopy. My canopy is, see, the canopy is just barely glued on. And that they did that on purpose. Don't think, well, they're being cheap. No, they just barely spot glued it on there so that you could do your FPV if you wanted to, because this is a very stable flying plane. So I'm going to put a bead of glue on that, of that wonderful Chinese glue they give us, and secure that down, because I will not be doing FPV. So I don't need to do that. But I'm glad they did that to give people that option. And now, of course, we have the main event. The main event. And if you watch enough of my unboxing build videos, you'll hear every time I open up the fuselage, I always say, the main event. That comes from the History of the World, Mel Brooks. There was one scene where Mel Brooks was coming on stage at the Caesar's Palace, and something about the main event, or I might be remembering it wrong, but someone went, the main event, and that just stuck with me. Okay, that's got nothing to do with this plane. All right. Let's just leave it in our cradle for right now while we go over some of the upgrades. Obvious upgrade is the quick connect wing here. Okay, you still have to deal with a ribbon, okay? You still have to deal with a ribbon, but that, come on, guys. I've already seen comments about the release of this, or people are already complaining about having not the true quick connect. I mean, how convenient are y'all wanting this to be? I mean, come on. That takes 2 push buttons, you plug that in, your wing's on. I can remember taking a plane to the field and it take 20, 30 minutes to put it together just so you can fly for 3 seconds. I mean, come on. Go ahead and pull your ribbon out just a little bit. You got a little bit of wiggle room there. Very nice finish, of course, as all of FREEWING models are. You have, it just oods and just, what's that word, ood? It just nothing but quality. Quality. That's going to plug in somewhere, that wire there. Or maybe it's, well, I don't know. We'll figure it out when we put it all together. But that's probably your UBEC there. I mean, you know what? I bet you that's so you can plug in like, that's probably like you plug your FPV or something in if you wanted to. I'll know when I fire up the plane. Everything's labeled there. Now what I'm going to have to do, this servo here is my steering servo. It's going to have to follow that wire and pull it out of the blue board, because I'm going to be plugging that directly into my receiver to do this nose wheel steering. Remember, nose wheel steering requires its own separate servo and its own separate channel on your radio. All right, now we're going to change views. I'm going to put all the parts out and we're going to start building this bad boy. All right, we're back. Got everything out ready to go. It's just a good idea to have yourself some little metal magnetic screw trays. Okay. You're going to open up the bag that has all your little these little screws. They're all the same size. They've all got Loctite on them. Go ahead and open them up. Let's go ahead and dump them into our magnetic tray. That way you don't lose them. I mean, I've got enough screws loose as it is. I don't need these going somewhere. All right, we're going to put in our vertical stabilizers. Now remember what I said about making sure polarity, okay? In here you've got little wires, okay? You got your servo connection that goes for your rudder, and then you got the rudder light connection. Okay, you're going to see, let me make sure I've got the, nope, that's the wrong one. Okay, make sure you install the correct rudder on the correct side. All right, now you can hold it here or lay it here, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to lay it here. I'm going to take my servo connection, pay attention to my polarity. Now they'll say yellow to yellow, light to light, but if you'll just remember a simple rule when connecting two servos connector, the light to light, dark to dark. If you just remember that rule, light to light, dark to dark, you'll never mess it up. Match the colors, okay? Now, this one here, this is only positive and negative for this light. So you're going to want to hook your black to your black and your red to your red, because if you don't, your light won't work, and then as soon as you give power to the plane, you're going to burn that slime light out. Okay, you don't want to do that. That's one of the big things about this plane is that now comes with slime lights. Make sure everything's connected. That's a nice, they fit together very nicely. You got two brass inserts, okay, but they're also housed in foam. So when you hook this up, don't crank down on it too much. There's a nice pocket for the wires. Let them just kind of fold down into that pocket. That way they're nice and they're sitting there nice and pretty. And then just seat your rudder, okay? It goes in one way. You can't mess it up. There you go. Then from underneath, you're going to need a 2mm hex drive. Grab two of these screws that already have a little bit of Loctite, and you'll see two screw points underneath there. One's right behind the elevator servo. I'm starting to get a nice sug, and then take the end of your fingertips and 1/2 turn with the end of your fingertips. That's all you need. You see that seam disappear up here. Okay, and then towards the front, there's another one. It's obvious where they're at. You can't mess it up. Let that seat up in there like that. Okay, on the other one, I'll turn it over so you can see it. Okay, nice and snug. And then 1/2 turn with just my finger strength. And that's in there. Okay, so let's go ahead, hook up the other one. I'm going to go ahead and lay it on there. And just so you know, the servo side is on the inside. So let's change my view where I can see what I'm doing. Now remember, with FREEWING, Flightline, Motion RC, they don't sponsor planes. They don't send out planes for review to reviewers like me. So this $625 that you would pay for this 6S one is the same thing I paid. I pay the same as you. This is my model, okay? Light to light, dark to dark, pop that in. Red to red, black to black, pop that in. Okay, I'm gonna let those wires, I have to see what I'm doing too, all fall down there in that nice little pocket there. Okay, if you feel resistance, you might be pinching a wire. So there. Oh, something doesn't quite feel right. Okay, there we go. Now that actually should stay in there just by the way that it's angled. Okay, let me turn this over. Watch it fall out on me. Okay, all right. Inactivity. Yes, yes, yes. All right, here are the two holes I was talking about. One right behind the servo, and then one right there. That's kind of hanging in there with the angle of the control surface. I'm still going to kind of hold it with my hand underneath there. I'm going to drop a screw. Say you got a screw loose. We all know that. And I can feel that rudder in my hand pulling in. So I know I've got connection. There, it bottoms out, nice and snug, and then half a turn with just my finger strength. Okay, same thing over here. I can feel that the back end of that rudder pulling in. Yep, it's pulling in now. Nice and tight, and then just have just a little bit of strength there. Now, that horizontal stabilizer or vertical stabilizer is on there. While we're here though, we've got to deal with those glue-on parts. Okay? I'm going to use the foam tack. You can use CA. You can use whatever you want. Okay, this is just going to have a nice connection here. Now this is keyed. It's only going to fit one way. And these are also keyed. Okay? They're only going to fit one way. So, you know what I might just do, since they're so quick, and there's no way you're going to get it wrong because they're like pieces of a puzzle. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use my medium CA actually. But what's the rule whenever you're hooking up foam to foam? You want to always go ahead, rough up your surface just a little bit. It's just a good practice. It's more surface area for the glue to stick to it. Make sure you got the right one. And in this case, I'm going to put my medium CA actually on the model, on this piece here. Okay. Set that to the side. I'm going to spray this piece with my activator. And now that's in there. That is in there. Okay. Rough up this side. Like I say, I'm not editing it. Now, if start doing like really monotonous stuff, I might edit that, like putting screws in or something. I might edit that out, but for the most part, we're going to leave all this live, and that way you can see the whole get down on it. And I do apologize if I don't always look at I look at you instead of look at the camera, so I'm just that's habit. Okay, and that's going to fit in there just like that. Pretty as you please. All right, that's in there. Sorry, I'm off camera. I'm just roughing that surface up a little bit. All right, I'm going to take the CA. Okay, going to spray that area there. And there you go. Going to hold that in place for just a minute. And that's on there. Now, there will be some more gluing. And let's go ahead and get that done. Okay, in your kit, you have these little conical ends. Okay, you're going to have 2 big ones and 4 smaller ones. Okay, go ahead and open them up. Just go ahead and put that in your little screw caddy here. Okay, let's go ahead and grab the large ones. We're going to get something done while we're, that way it's, you're going to get the larger ones. Okay, the larger ones. And what we're going to do is, while we got our glue going, so I'm going to just put some on the end of this conical end here. This just makes putting your wing tube in a little bit easier. And it gives you another opportunity to glue your fingers together. And that's important. Anytime you're putting these models together, you must get glue all over your fingers. It's law. I'm sorry, I don't make these rules, okay? It's just the way it is. Nothing you can do about it. Looks like you get an extra one of these big ones here. Fits in there like that. And that way, this just makes putting the servo or the wing spar in easier. Lines right up. You don't have any issue. Now, while you're doing this, grab your wings, your wingy dingies, okay, and you've got a permanently adjoined spar already in it. Go ahead and get some glue on that. Okay, you're going to grab one of the smaller ones, okay, and that just goes on there like that. Set that wing off to the side. Grab the other wing. Put a little bit of little dab of do ya. Just a little bit. You ain't gotta go crazy. Okay. Alright. Like I said, I'm showing you all these steps that I normally just take for granted. And that's on there. Okay, now, I don't put kicker on that. It's going to sit and cure, so I'm not worried about kicker on that. Now we can turn our attention to installing our elevators or horizontal stabilizers. Okay, now we're going to do this, if I remember right, we do this from underneath. Okay, in your kit, you have these two shafts. Okay, you see these indentations? This is where screws line in there. You're going to take the shaft, doesn't matter either side, and there's a hole there. There's a hole there somewhere. Right there. Wait a minute. Yeah, right here. And that's going to go in there just like that. And this one's going to go in here just like this. You're going to take two, and make sure I'm grabbing the right stuff. Yeah. You're going to take two. Now, you don't get an extra of these, so don't lose them. Two more of your screws that have the Loctite on them. 2mm screws. Grab your 2mm hex drive, which is over here. Let's go ahead and install these. Okay. Now, you're going down. The metal here is going to be touching the metal on that shaft, because you don't want that whole shaft, because that locks that in place is what that does. Okay, I got that one in there. I'm going to go further in there, but okay. Now this you can crank down a little bit. Just don't go crazy. Uh-oh. Okay, I'm not hooking to anything. Back out, back out. Ah, there it is. Yeah, when you can't... When you can't go any further down, okay, that's on there. I mean, that's not coming off of there. It ain't going nowhere. Now you're going to be out of screws now. Okay?
Inactivity.
Okay, that's on there. And this is the kind of monotonous stuff I was talking about that I'll probably skip through. When I put one screw in, you got the idea. Maybe not, who knows. Okay, those are in there. They are not coming out. Okay, now we're going to set that off to the side for just a moment. And I'm going to show you how you assemble your rudders or your elevators. See? Now you'll have 2 of those conical ends left over. Set them off the side. Now you're going to pay attention to your elevators. All right. In your kit, you've got 2 collets and then 2 washers, okay? And then you got these 2 set screws. Right now, you're going to need none of that. What you're going to need right now is this kit. All right. Now, there's something I don't understand. We'll show you this in just a minute. Okay. You need a Phillips head screwdriver for this set. They have 3 holes. What I don't understand. They have 3 holes. But oh, that's why. But you only have a spot for 2 holes to put that in. So I don't know why they didn't put a 3rd hole there. I don't know. They only give you the 3 screws, so it is what it is. Okay. So you're going to put that in there like that. You can't screw it up. It only fits one way. I suggest using a magnetic tipped screwdriver. Hold that down. One thing that would have been smart to do would be have a cloth down or something, because I'm kind of bearing down on that elevator, that surface of that foam on that rough table. So really should have like a moving blanket down or something. Would have been good. And when you're done, that's how that should look, okay? With the ball link towards the inside of the plane, okay? Let's go ahead and do our other one, wherever I got it put at. Set it down just like that. Because you couldn't put it on, you couldn't put it the facing the other way anyways, because of the way it's keyed. And this whole structure is a lot more hard plastic now, which I think that's part of one of the upgrades. All right, that's in there. All right, and that's how that should look when you're all done. Okay. All right, let's change our position just a little bit. All right. Now, in that kit that I said we're not going to use it now, now we're going to be using this kit here. Okay. All right. When you get them out of the bag, you're going to have the 2 collets. These 2 screws are going to screw into see that hole there? In there to hold it in. And these are going to go to the inside of the fuselage. You'll see in just a minute. All right, so go ahead and grab one of these washers. You're going to slide it on. Okay. Grab the appropriate elevator. Okay. You can just let that hang there for just a second. Stick that on there. Maybe. Okay. Now, grab one of these collets, and you're going to need a 1.5 hex drive screwdriver. 1.5. Okay. I need a 1.5. You're going to grab one of these little black set screws. Okay. Go ahead. Put it in the end of that collet, but don't go all the way. Just enough to where you can kind of control the collet. Okay. If you start seeing it hang out on the inside, back out. Just enough. Okay. Then you're going to take it. You're going to drop it in there. And see, this is why I want you to keep control of it with the, you're going to see that shaft's going to, as I push the elevator in, that shaft is going to start appearing in this window. And then I can kind of just pull that collet or that up there on that. Up on the shaft there. And then what I like to do to make sure that it stays up on the end of that shaft, I'll take another screwdriver, hold that in place, while I anchor down on the end of this collet. Now don't go crazy. Don't strip it down, just enough to where that collet holds on there. Okay, and that's not going to come off of there. Okay. Because you can easily strip out that screw and then you won't be able to get that off. Now see how that collet, how this limits the throws? It catches here and catches here, it stops it. This is where this is going to start. If you had too much throw, you're going to eat into the side of your foams here. This is what I was talking about. Two brothers, he might get a more powerful servo here to get more throws, and he would cut some of this out to get that more. So if you're going to leave it stock like I am, make sure this collet here, this screw lines up the top right through here. This whole thing lines up together. That way you have the maximum amount of throws. You don't want to be digging into the foam. That's more than enough movement anyways. You're saying, well, you're going to hook up your elevator now. No, we're not hooking that up until we do the radio section, because I want to serve, that's an electronic thing that's done when we do the radio part. All right, I'm going to grab a hold of my washer, slide it on this side here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to grab my little set screw here. Make sure you don't lose him. You don't get extras of this. I wish they'd give us extra of this stuff instead of them conical ends. All right, find that hole. Okay. Get that in there just enough. I don't want to see it coming through the metal there. Just enough where I can control it. Okay. Slide my elevator on. Okay. See where it came out of that shaft there? I'm going to back out just a little bit. Drop that down in there. And I can kind of control it. Okay. All right. Bring it up. I'm going to take this other piece of the screwdriver to hold that end in to where that stays all the way up on that shaft and doesn't slide back while I anchor down, keeping this collet
inactivity
lined up with that center line there.
Inactivity.
All right.
Inactivity.
Oh, hush. All right, that's not going to come off of there. Now, if you wanted, you could put a little drop of Loctite if you want, but just remember, Loctite, if it got out, it's going to eat up the foam, it's going to eat up the plastic, and make everything brittle. So I just don't suggest doing that. If you want, you could put a little bit of CA on that if you wanted to. All right, let's back up a little bit while we put these wings on. All right. You're going to grab your wing spar that you've got your conical ends on. You're going to shove your wing spar through there. Make sure you grab the appropriate wing. For some reason, when you put the correct wing on the right side, on the correct side, the plane just flies so much better. All right, you've got your hole here that your main spar is going to hook up to. And then this part of the spar is going to go right there. Okay, so go ahead and put it on the main spar. Put your wing on the main spar. Get it, see that ribbon there? You're going to pay attention to this ribbon. Take your other short spar, get it hanging on the wing to where it hangs, and then, well, let me just show you what I'm doing. What I'm doing now is I'm going to hook that ribbon cable up there. Okay, you see now how the right there it's got those two cutouts on either side. If you look on your ribbon, it has two like eyes or guide structures. They're going to slide right in to those two cutouts there. That way you can't put it on wrong. Okay, like I was just getting ready to do. But just hang there. I'm going to go anyway, underneath, on top, however way you can get to it's comfortable for you. I like doing this like this. All right, that's in there. I mean, it sits down in there. You'll tell. You'll be able to tell. Remember, you see the white here. You can connect your wing. Slide that in there. Push down. Slide that in there. Push down. locks in. Gray, it's okay. Okay. White, it ain't right. Okay, that's just my little saying I've created to help me remember putting these wings on these quick connects. And like I say, if I get a plane that's not gray, I'm going to have to come up with a new little saying. Okay. And see how quickly that wing put on? I can't, I just blows my mind that people are going to complain about that. Why would you, that took no time at all. That took no time at all. Okay. See, here's an example of why having those conical ends on there help that thing line up, that spar line up. Okay. And we're getting ready, get a little bit closer in. Now, you don't have much room to work with. But this is not that big of a deal. Okay. Trust me, this is a lot easier than a lot of planes I've put together in the past and field assembly. This is nothing. This is nothing. Okay. That's in there. Slide that in. Crank that in. That in. Gray, it's okay. All right. Now we have our horizontal and our vertical stabilizers installed. We are now going to turn our attention to the hardest part of this build, the part that you're going to have to pay the most attention to, that's quite in depth and is just, really I wish they could have just skipped this step, just done it for us, because this is going to turn a lot of people off. They're not going to want to buy this plane because of this complexity of this next step. You're going to have to use some glue also. I know. Yes, folks, we're going to install the nose cone. I know. You're thinking, why didn't they do that for us at the factory? But to me, you pay this much for the plane, at least they could have installed the nose cone for you. I mean, come on. That's just horrible. There's no excuse for this at all. None whatsoever. Okay. Ready? Here we go. Oh! Done! That was touch and go. If you didn't get that right the first time. Whew. Okay. Enough of that stupidity. Let's do our last little step and go ahead and put on our, I'm going to glue my canopy on. I'm going to put just a little line of the CA, medium CA on there. I'll go crazy with it. Okay. Drop that. All right. Now, I'm going to take it, hold it in my fingers. I'm going to line up that front corner there. And then just let that fall into place. Just like that. Okay. Another very tedious part of the build. You know, that actually doesn't fit in there that well. Oh, I got wires in the way. Well, that would be why. Oh, they hardened this plate here now. That's another nice thing they did. That was a weak point in the old one. If y'all remember watching my videos, what have I got missing here? I'll put a hard wood plate of mine, my other one. All right, that's in there. All righty. Now, yes, I haven't hooked the control service yet, because I'm going to do a radio setup video next. But that was the basic unboxing build of the all-new FREEWING 90mm F-22 version 2 sent to me by my wallet and you viewers who watch my channel. I pay $6.25 just like you pay $6.25. But there you go, folks. Thank you so much for watching. God bless y'all. Stay tuned. We're going to do another video. We're going to do a complete radio and setup. I'm going to show you how I do safe, how I do forward programming, how I do the nosewheel gyro. Okay. And just so that you know, off camera, I'm going to be installing a KM model afterburner. I'll do that off camera because I do have another video on how to install it. It's literally all you do is bolt it to the back of the motor, run your wire, plug it in, you're good. It's very, very simple, okay? All right, but I have a video on that. I'll put a link in the description of the video for that. Thank you for watching. God bless y'all, and don't forget, faith, family, and friends, God is good, and the all-new F-22 90 version 2. Bye-bye.